Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa. So today I'm going to work on a project that's going to be made from 6x6 papers, but a little backstory is they originally start as 12x12 papers. So I went shopping in my craft closet and I went through and I just found papers that had small prints on them, interesting textures, interesting colors, stuff like that, stripes, plaids, flowers, etc. So let me get this out of the way. You might have seen before that I had shopped my closet when I had pulled out these background papers that I will be able to print on the other side of digitals. They're more solid-y kind of ones. These I cut down to 8.5 by 11 with some 1-inch strips for washi and some 3.5-inch for other projects. But those 12x12s I've decided to cut down to 6x6s. So how I started it was I went through and I found 3 pieces of paper that kind of coordinated, like these 3. And then I cut the 3 sheets down to 6x6s. So I just randomly grabbed a whole bunch of colors. Like you see, there's stripes, there's browns, florals, watercolors, circles, plaids, squares, just a whole bunch of random, even kind of retro prints for those that I could mix and match 6x6s. So it kind of looks like a big, what do you want to call it? Big paper pad. So I can mix these to make some 6x6 projects. Fun stuff. All right, so I'm going to move these to the side. I'm going to start out with, I already made a project with these, grab these back, these green ones, and let me show you what I made. And I'm going to show how we can go ahead and make a whole bunch of these. So the first project that I made from the 6x6 pad is this double folded side tuck pocket. Also, like I said, out of 6x6, then I made a coordinating tag that I backed with just some plain paper that we could put into the first pocket. And then I made another pocket, or another journal card that I made out of the paper that will go in that pocket when it gets on a page. So yes, they're coordinated. But again, what I could do is eventually, if I wanted to take, say, this one, because they coordinate, I can make a tag out of this one and put that back there. But for today's project, I'm going to show you how I made it out of just 3 pieces of 6x6 paper. Actually, more than 3, because I cut them up, but 3 styles. Okay, so let's put those to the side, and let's grab another set of colors. And I don't necessarily want to do the yellow because that is just kind of similar to that one. So maybe we can go with, should we go with the browns? Why not? Do something a little bit more on the grungy side. We'll start with this. Okay. This one's gonna be fun. Can't wait to make something out of that. Okay, maybe next one. All right, we'll move these back out of the way. All right, so easy peasy. We're gonna just figure out what we want for the back triangle and what we want for the front triangle. And then the third one is gonna be the cards. So I think we'll have this one as the front panel. So this one will probably be a good back panel, and we'll make that one as the card. Okay, we'll start with that, and then we'll go from there. All right, so the back panel is this one. Again, I started with 6x6 paper. This is just a fold triangle to triangle. Of course, if you could fold properly, Lisa, that would be good, but all of that is fixable. So we are going to take my glue book. There we go. Get you guys out of the way. All right, and we're gonna just glue these two layers together. Now, roll it up. I could use the glue stick. You could use, actually I think the first one I made, I used the wet glue, my glitter glue. Okay. Now I'm just gonna ever so slightly straighten this. This might be the back and no one's gonna see anyway, but it's kind of bothering me. All right. Well, there. Inking makes a lot of things go wrong, or a lot of things right that are wrong. Not that makes it go wrong. That's just weird. Okay, now what I did notice is when you do this, it is too big for a page. But basically all I did was just snip off, you know, not even, I wouldn't even call it an inch. Put it there. Yeah, I cut off maybe 3/4 of an inch. Again, it's totally up to you. I think I'm just gonna cut off to this line right here. Makes a nice edge. Okay. All right, now on this one, I did do a little pocket notch, just to keep it simple. I'm gonna go ahead and do that again. And we will throw a link on there. Okay, now, so that back pocket is done. Now the front pocket, which we decided to do with this, we are going to do the same thing, except I'm going to cut this down to 5 by 5. So we're going to take this, and we can obviously use these strips for accents on here or another project, but that's that. So we're going to take and do the same thing. And throw a little glue on here. Now, if you had really thick paper, you know, like double-sided cardstock, you could probably just take the 5 by 5 or 6 by 6 and just cut it point to point and put one layer on there. But since these were scrapbook papers and definitely a bit lighter, I thought it best to double it up just to make it a little bit stronger. All right, so I'm gonna put that right about the same spot, so it's gonna go right about there. Okay, there we go. Now for this, I'm going to obviously just glue the two sides down. And we're just going to leave a little bit of room on the bottom, a little bit of room on the top. Now what I just noticed was I didn't do this on this one is, time, just to make it look kind of similar, I did just nip off the edge. Again, as you saw when this was attached, it wasn't necessary to do for size-wise. It truly was just an aesthetic kind of thing. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry. We can make the other ones, and we can throw some decoration on there. What I found, and the reason why I picked also, just a little side note, the reason why I picked papers that were maybe a little busier, that maybe I wouldn't necessarily use, like say this one, by the time you put some labels on it, or birds, butterflies, whatever you want to add to it, book pages, most of the pattern is gone. You just see things peeking out. Now this one ended up, the fold ended up perfectly with how the flowers flew around the butterfly. So that, extremely happy about that one. So, okay, so for the tag that goes on the inside, we're gonna find my third piece of paper. And we are gonna cut this tag to make these two pieces. This was the original yeah, that was the original piece, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6. Okay. So we're gonna cut the first one into 3.5 for a 3.5 inch tag. We're going to save that one for the second tag. Now, I know this is strictly how I did it for 3.5. Only the reason I did it is because I had, when you cut a 12 by 12 piece of paper down to 8.5 by 11, you get a 3.5 inch piece left. So I have a lot of plain white and off-white, the 1 inch strips, plain white and off-white strips when I am cutting papers to go through my printer to print digitals off of. So I have a lot of cut-offs that are 3.5 inches of white and off-white that I have just stacked here. So the 3.5 inches truly was based on this, that I have these pieces that I can throw on the back of tags so easily. So this is why I chose it. No other reason than that. So if you wanted to make a different size, if a different size tag, because this obviously can fit a bit more in here, but I thought the 3.5 ended up being a nice size centered in there. So it kind of really just, every little facet of it just really worked out. So sometimes you run into those projects you do and it just falls into place. So this was one of the ones that just kind of fell into place. Now, I'm not even mad about that little side peeking out because I can throw some ink on there too. So, all right, I'm just gonna trim it. For another tag. Okay. I'm going to round the corners because that's what I do. I love to round. I really keep thinking I need to buy another one of these because if this breaks on me, I'm knock on wood, knock on wood. I'm gonna be lost. Okay. All right, so all right, we're gonna ink around the sides. Now, when I made my first one, my green one, to test the sides out, I did, like I said, decorate this, but I didn't decorate any of the journal cards or anything. Gonna kind of leave that for what ends up going there maybe before I start adding too many things to those. So for right now, I left those blank. Okay. Do I mind that lightness there? I don't know. I really don't. Okay. All right, so that one, I'm gonna ink the back. For this tag journal card, we'll go right there. Okay, so for this back one that I used, this one is going to involve using this piece and also another piece. Now, you could pick, like I said, one from this collection, or not. Originally, when I did this, I picked the big triangle and what was left. So if that was the case, this would be the tag. If I wanted to make this the tag, I could. I think this is too dark, so I think I am going to do this one. But I think I might do it this way because that would be fun. So let's do that one. Okay. I'm not sure why I cut that down. Oh, I probably just had to straighten it. Okay. All right. So for this one, it is folded over almost to make a pocket for this. So I folded it over at the 2-inch mark to make this a 4-inch card. So I have a 3.5 inch and a 4-inch. All right, so it's going to go this way. So I'm just going to score it at 2 inches. Okay, and then this goes on top of here, and it just ever so slightly makes it full. Now I originally thought of making this, gluing this flap on, and then gluing it here and making a pocket. But at the end, in the end, I kind of just voted against it because since there's 2 pockets on there, I didn't feel necessary to make a third. But I just wanted to let you know that that is an option. So I'm going to show you how we could do that. I'll just throw some glue onto here so that we can glue this piece in place, and we will just line it top to bottom. And all right, so like I said, you could glue here, and probably put a notch up there and make a pocket. But like I said, I decided against it. Plus the fact that this was lighter paper was another reason why I kind of decided against it, because I didn't want to have to try to reinforce it to make it an additional pocket. So we are just going to fold it on itself here. Runaway glue. All right, let's close this up for a minute before I forget. Okay. Okay. That was not rubbing away like it usually does. Okay, and I think as you can kind of see, that it's a little off, and that's probably how this became just a hair shorter when I made it originally, is because I took it just to straighten out the top and bottom. Yeah, and then we are going to I need to trim this side too. There. Okay, all better. So if you don't want to round, you don't have to. If you want to make the angles like a tag, you can do that. Keep it straight. Again, totally up to you on this. And as usual, inking is optional. I definitely like to do it for these papers, the scrapbook ones, since the sides are white. Especially when you do the dark side, I just like to get rid of it. Plus, I think it just frames it a little bit, makes it a little more finished. Okay. All right. Well, there is that one. Yeah. You put it when you put it in, tuck it in. It'll look cute. Is that peeking out? Right? Yes. I think it'll be cute. I like it. But again, if you wanted to do, not that the screen one would be great, but if you wanted to do a, even though it's not too bad, there's some green in there. If you wanted to do something completely different for it, you could do that also. So mixing and matching is totally an option once you know how to make them. So let's see if we can throw a little decoration on there. Maybe a little label, maybe a little something. I like the flourish there. If I get a flower that has some. Well, that'd be kind of cool. I like that. Too bright. Too small. Yeah, I like that one. Okay, we'll throw that on there, and we will find a label to go behind it. You're too big. Might be interesting. I think I'll cut the blue off. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that could work. Now let's get rid of this. And I'm gonna throw my vintage photo on just to darken up that white-ish bit just a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Cover you back up. Now, let's see. You are going to go down first. And you will go down second. Yeah, cute. All right, very cute. Okay, close this up, and let's see if we can be able to put those in my to-do book and be able to decorate them at some point when I'm, oh, but as I was saying, so if you wanted to, even go so far as to add this, you could, as like an extra tuck spot or just decoration. That would also work. for that. I'm gonna leave that to the side for now. Tuck these in. Okay, so let's make another collection. These are fun. I've really been leaning toward the brighter colors lately. Yeah, maybe because it's summer. Still love my grungy Tim Holtz stuff, but definitely been leaning toward some brighter, fun colors lately. But it's my prerogative to change my mind, right? Okay, get that out of the way. And we'll decide what we want to do. Okay, I definitely think I want this as a front, because this is just fun, fun, fun. So you're going to be a front. Put you as the second one. Oh, if you're the front, you got to be 5 inches. My bad. No harm, no foul. Not glued together. Okay. All right. Looks up. All right. All right, so I'll make sure that that is the back. So, like I said, no harm, no foul. Okay, so that's going to be the back tuck. I think I like the pink better. Okay, so we're going to make this the front one. Okay, all right. Now, obviously, if you wanted to make tucks going the other way, you could do that too. Either way. When I cut the piece off, it could definitely, you could probably cut both the top and bottom a little bit so that you can decide to do it either direction. That will work too. But once it's decorated, it's kind of got to go this way. But like I said, if you wanted to make it where it could go both ways, I would start by cutting off a little bit on each end so that you can go ahead and flip it later if you desire. So I think I'm going to make this one that way so it becomes a little bit more versatile. All right, so we're just going to snip a bit off that end and snip a bit off that end. And we're just going to make sure, not that it's going to go in here, but we're just going to make sure that it would fit. Need just a little bit more. All right, so that would fit that way. And just a little bit more off of that one. Okay, and that would fit that way. Yeah, okay. We're good. Okay, so we're going to glue this one down. And And it looks like I probably, as usual, need to trim this. Because crazy folds. off of there. Okay, crazy folds. Now this one, we're gonna snip just to, like I said, make it look cohesive. I'll snip the top and the bottom. That works. And we'll go ahead and glue these two together. All right, well that one's not so bad. And I don't think I'm gonna grunge this one. I think I like it. Oh, but this has grunge. Okay. Oops. Punch a little notch. I'm gonna do them together. Just to make sure they're kind of in the same spot. Yeah, so like I said, by the time you go ahead and put some sort of label down here, you know, like that or something like that, you can you cover up a lot of the area that's been pictured, so you don't see the print as much in the back. I might use that. We'll leave that on top. Okay. All right, so we're gonna glue this pocket to this. Put that, center that as good as possible. Now, if that's all you wanted to do, I mean, that's all you had to do. And then eventually, if you had some other, like I had my masterboard tags that I made recently. That would fit in there. That'd be really cute. So you could put any really sort of tag in there. Don't have to make the ones that go with it, but I just wanted to show you a couple things you can do with the 6x6s. All right, so that is going to be done for that. All right, so for the first tag in the back, like that one, we need the third color, which is going to be this, and we are going to cut that down to 3.5, as we know, because it fits perfectly with the 8.5 by 11s to get 3.5 left over. It's all about trying to use as little waste as possible. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. Now again, it's white in the back, so it's not really meant for changing the color. If I wanted to put tea dye on there, I could. I think I'm just gonna go with white because these are a little bit brighter. Like I said, it is white in the back already, so I could leave it, but this paper is thinner. So I definitely need to back it with something just to give it some strength for the tag. If this was thicker cardstock that could kind of stand on its own, I don't know if I would go ahead and back it, but that is why I've chosen to back it, just because it's so light. All right, let's trim this down. Get the, and I probably should be waiting to do this because it's still a little wet, but I'm always impatient. I want to get it done. If you want to go through and, you know, matte. What is that? Okay, coming off. If you truly wanted to, you know, mass make a whole bunch of stuff, you could glue all these together and then go back and trim them out. That would work also. Okay. All right, so there's a card for that. And like I said, if you wanted to, these are big enough that if you wanted to make a full-blown journal card with something, which I just might end up doing, something like that. Even though you have, you know, bright colors, by the time you throw some sort of label around there, you can definitely hide some of the prints that are there and make them not so bold. So don't be afraid of using the bold papers that you have if you want to work more grungy. Grungy. So let's say I had the, let's say, let's get a Tim Holtz lady here. And you know, wanted to throw that on there, grunge that up a little bit, maybe throw some book page, and of course I don't have any handy because I wasn't planning on that. I got like this. Throw some, you know, book page on there with the tag, her. And before you know it, you know, you don't have that much of the brightness showing. So fun. I think that's where my issue is right now. I'm kind of stuck between loving my Tim Holtz grungy stuff, loving the old stuff, but still like my bright colors. So I am trying to, I think, just marry the two together. Okay, so now for the back card, where I combine the piece I cut off here with another one, I think I'm going to do this with it, because that'll be fun. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so we are going to score it at class. Score it at 2 inches, because we're going to make a 4-inch card for this one. Okay. Now, as I was, that's a problem too, is some of my 12 by 12s were not exactly 12 by 12. Old papers were not always the same. So as I was putting the last piece where I was showing how you could put a band on there, I was thinking you probably could glue that down and make this where it was a pocket to stick in there, and it would have a pocket. So why don't I try that? I will have to cut this top down though, or the bottom. I'll cut the bottom down because this has a nice top. Okay, so all right, we're gonna cut this down to pretend like it's the right size. Okay, so that went there. That went there. Okay, there we go. Pretending. Okay, so you're going to take your 6x6 paper and your cutoff of 2.5 inches. That was from the 3.5. And we are going to glue this down to the bigger part, the 4-inch part. I love crafting on the fly. You know, you get an idea in your head and you're like, well, let's try this, because I think that's sometimes the only way you figure out how to do stuff. Is you try something. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's just one quarter of a piece of 12 by 12 paper, right? Okay. Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to go back and cut it a little bit on its own there. Okay. All right, so then I'm gonna take this and I'm going to just do the top and bottom. Do I want to put a notch? Probably. Just a slight notch here. Right there. And then I'm going to go ahead before I glue that down and ink it. Oops. All right, I'll ink the corners after I round them. Okay. All right, so I got that inked, so I'm going to take this Problem Child glue and we're just going to throw a little glue on the top and bottom. And glue that down. Okay, of course I inked this side already, but just got a little bit hanging off the edge. Whoop, that kind of weird bump to it. Again, cutting while it's wet, not the smartest thing to do. Okay. And I still feel like rounding it will work. Except for the fact that it's wet. Alright. Trim that little part that decided to get caught in the punch. Pro tip number 632. Don't cut paper when it's wet. Don't do what I do. Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. So if you wanted to, you could definitely take some, paper, throw that on there too. I would do something small out of that so it has the fun print. Throw some paper on the back so that it's a journal card, since it's not as solid as like some of these. These have lines, so those will be easy to write on. This first one I did, it's more of a solid green. This one being a little bit different, you don't have to. But yeah, you definitely could throw that in there. Have a little piece that gets tucked in there, and then that piece gets in the back there. No one knows it's even there because fun times. It's hidden, or you just use this as a separate journal card. I love it. Okay, well, I think these were some great ideas to use up 6x6 pads that you already own, because we all have a bunch of them. But it's also fun if you have a bunch of 12 by 12 papers that you don't know what to do with, to take those and cut those down to 6 by 6 and make your own coordinated 6 by 6 pads. Yeah, I love them. Okay, well, I think that is going to be it for today's video. I do have a couple more ideas for some more 6 by 6 ideas that I'm going to be sharing in the upcoming couple days. So look for those. Like, wouldn't that be cute on there? Throw that little decoration. So many options. So, okay. I run out of room. I have so many ideas. All right, well, that's going to be it for today. As usual, thanks so much and have a creative day. Bye now.